The Korean entertainment world was once again silenced by a moment no one expected. Jungkook, BTS's golden maknae, usually known for his charisma, confidence, and quiet strength, finally revealed a side of himself that touched millions. At the center of his rare confession stood none other than Park Jimin, friend, groupmate, and the person who has walked beside him since the very beginning of BTS's journey. What began as a simple, routine event soon turned into history. Jungkook, usually reserved and private, spoke with a trembling voice. His words carried a weight that could only come from long-hidden feelings. And in those words, Jimin's name echoed again and again. If it weren't for Jimin, I don't know if I would have made it this far, Jungkook confessed, his eyes shining as if holding back unspoken emotions. ARMY, whether present in the hall or watching online, fell into stunned silence. The relationship between Jungkook and Jimin has always been one of the fandom's most cherished topics. Some call it pure sincerity. Others see a deeper emotional bond. But this time, Jungkook himself confirmed what many had long sensed. He admitted that behind his strong exterior, Jimin had always been the one to understand his fears, his insecurities, and his moments of weakness. He knows when I'm scared. He knows when I want to give up, Jungkook continued. The honesty in his tone left no room for doubt. The audience burst into applause. Some fans wept openly, realizing that they had just witnessed something unforgettable. Even Jimin, usually steady, was visibly moved, his lips trembling as though he wanted to reply, but instead, lowering his gaze with a soft smile. That silent reaction spoke louder than words. Within minutes, the clip of Jungkook's confession went viral. Hashtags like Nonshin Jungkook for Jimin and Toll Moment of Truth climbed to the top of worldwide trends. Analysts remarked that Jungkook, who usually expresses himself through actions rather than words, had just revealed something extraordinary. The moment carried even more meaning given their history. In their early days, Jungkook often struggled under pressure, while Jimin patiently guided him. At times, their differences created distance. Yet over the years, they grew into complementary halves. That night, Jungkook's words felt like the culmination of a long journey, an acknowledgement that Jimin had been his anchor all along. For ARMY, this wasn't just about two idols. It was a lesson. Even stars have fragile sides, and true strength comes from admitting them. Fans wrote heartfelt messages online, thanking Jimin for being Jungkook's support, and thanking Jungkook for being brave enough to say it aloud. Korean media called it a moment of truth. Celebrities praised Jungkook's courage, noting that honesty is not weakness, but a rare kind of strength, and Jimin's silent, yet emotional response only deepened the meaning. Still, questions remain. Was this simply gratitude, or did his words carry something more? Was it friendship, brotherhood, or love in another form? Fans continue to debate, but one thing is certain. That night, the stage became more than a platform for music. It became the witness to a confession that will be remembered forever.